Hi, it's Rebecca Empathic Crow. It has been a while since I have done a card pull, general reading, and so I'm going to do that today. I do have my 5 Oracle decks that are the same ones that I have for the giveaway. So these are my opened ones that I've been using a little bit. And so I figured what we'll do is I'm going to pull a card, trying to decide either from the tarot or from this Cosmic Record deck, because the Cosmic Record deck gives very specific meanings, and I'm really feeling called to it. So we'll do that. If you've not seen the giveaway, it is to enter, you can subscribe to my website, empathiccrow1111.com, subscribe to the YouTube channel, which is empathiccrow1111. Or if you are already subscribed to those and you have received a service from me, if you leave me a honest Google review, that's another way to enter that giveaway. So if you have any questions, you can always message me or send me an email, empathiccrow333@gmail.com. So we will go ahead and get started, but I wanted you to see, if you haven't already, how beautiful these decks are. And I am so excited to be able to have the opportunity to give those decks to other people. All right. I'm going to ground myself real quick and we will get going. All right. So what is the message that someone needs to hear today? If this resonates with you, then it is for you. If it doesn't, you can just move along to the next reading, because maybe it will have a message for you. But at the same time, don't try to make it fit. I've seen people do that before, and it just creates a lot of confusion. So we'll see. All right, so the card that came out is Aim for Higher. In the current struggle, you may seek quick resolution, but rushing will complicate things. Let go of fixating on the outcome and choose a path of empathy and foresight to overcome the impasse and improve the relationship. So we've got something about a relationship coming through. So now I understand why I was torn between that deck and the tarot. So we're going to go ahead and pull a tarot card, and then we'll get into some of the other oracle decks. So with this relationship, current struggle, seeking a quick resolution, but rushing complicates things. Let go of fixation on the outcome and choose a path of empathy and foresight to overcome the impasse and improve the relationship. So with this card, it is saying that there is a desire that you have to improve the relationship, whatever that relationship is for you. So we have the Nine of Cups coming out. So with this, it feels like that this is a relationship with somebody that I heard you are the sun, that it feels like it was going really well, that you had everything you wanted, everything you needed, or you were right at it. Because with this Nine of Cups, you know, the Ten of Cups is the next card in the deck, where it's the completion, that you have the happy families, you have the wish card, the wish come true. And so you felt like your wish was coming true, but I'm seeing right now the lotus flower down here. So it hasn't necessarily been easy. It's been pushing and growing up through the mud. You've had the things that you needed, but it wasn't always something that felt like it was what you wanted. I feel like with this relationship, it's one of those where you see it as it really should work, and maybe it could, but am I, discontentment's what I'm hearing. Am I satisfied with this relationship? Am I wanting to stay in it? We've got the Tower. So there's something that's gone on recently where it feels like everything has been shaken up. So whereas this card feels like it was showing the sense of stability, of having the things that you wanted and needed, this card feels like something has come in and it just completely shook up your world, whether it was the way that you viewed things, whether it was an infidelity, or, and that doesn't necessarily have to be physically, that can be even just like secrets or doing things without the other person's knowledge. Like it feels like something was hidden. It feels like this isn't just something that just started. This is something that's been going on for a while, but it took that Nine of Cups and completely turned it upside down. And so that's what the Tower moment is. Let's see. See if another tarot card wants to come out, and then we'll go into the Oracle decks. With the Cosmic Record deck, it is saying, like I said, that you may seek quick resolution. So with this Tower, it doesn't mean everything has to end, that you have to just like cut it off and that's it. But rushing complicates things. So this is a situation where it's 5:55 on the clock, going to take a lot of time to really think about what you need. Let go of fixating on the outcome and choose a path of empathy and foresight to overcome the impasse. So it's not that everything's going to work out, but instead of focusing on whether it ends or moves forward, this last shuffle, and we'll move on to Oracle. Whether it ends or you do something different, it's going to require more thought than just quick action. And the card that fell out was the Page of Pentacles. And I feel like, again, when I'm looking at this red, it feels like an upheaval of the stability that you felt like you had. And the Pentacle here, like I said, this, I don't know if I had said that, but where I said it doesn't necessarily have to even be like a physical relationship with the fidelity, just something you didn't know. And the first thing that had flashed to me was money, but I can't remember now if I had said that or not. So this could be a monetary situation where financial stability was lost because of something that happened and maybe one person knew and the other person didn't, or I saw a rug kind of being pulled. So it may be that the rug was pulled out from underneath you, but in some way with that financial situation, it's like, and with the Page, I'm seeing like somebody was immature with money and it has created this sense of lack. It's taken that security. Like I said, the first thing I saw was the red here, which is root chakra for me, and that grounding, stability, security, foundation. It's feeling like you feel like you had the rug pulled right out from underneath you, that somebody was immature with the funds. And while there is a new beginning that can come in and you can regrow this, it feels like you've fallen. Okay. So let's go with the inner child to start with, because I feel like our inner child, of course, anytime that we are triggered in something difficult that happens, is a huge aspect of how we respond, because the coping strategies that you learned as a child typically dictate when you're triggered and you're not really thinking things through how you respond. Are you going to be somebody who tries to placate the situation? Are you going to be somebody who gets defensive and upset and just acts very quickly, which this card is saying don't do that, don't act quickly? Are you going to be someone who feels like you need to just hide and run away from it all? And any of us can go through those types of coping skills. But I feel like really what's being said here is you can take a break, take some time to think it through, and you get to decide what that looks like as far as space for you, but not to make any quick decisions. Oof. All right, so we have 2 cards. So 42, which breaks down to a 7, you deserve to be seen, let yourself be known. So with this, again, I feel like this is pointing at being able to really explore your thoughts and to be able to speak your truth and say what it is that you're feeling. Being able to communicate. It may feel like, when I looked at this, I'm seeing 2 different animals and they're communicating. You see the communication with their eyes. Like in this situation, you may feel like this person, I knew them. We had a good thing, but I don't know them anymore. Like they're this immature Page and I don't know them anymore. So letting yourself be known, be able to pull back so that you can think of what you want to say and communicating how you feel in a way that is going to be helpful to you. 21, which breaks down to a 3, let go of the past. It's time to envision a new story. Now notice in this card, you've got a tower that's fully built. So this tower may have crumbled, but you have to let go of that tower. That tower had to fall because it wasn't working. It wasn't going to work. It's time to envision a new story. So we've got these lotus flowers again. It's not necessarily going to be easy, but this is you stepping out and focusing on yourself so that you can rebuild a new story. All right, so that is the Inner Child deck. Let's go to the Priestess of Light Oracle. We'll go to that one next because I'm feeling like we need a powerful energy in this one to see what energy you embody as you go through this transformation and you consider what it is that you need. Because this is not an easy thing to go through, and it's not that you have to go through it gracefully. It's just not making those rash, quick decisions. You may feel like you want to. You have every right to be upset about the situation, but sometimes we have to have some grace with ourselves and with others so that we can choose a path that's going to 11:11 on the clock, as I said that, a path that is going to, it's a horrible phrase, but not shoot ourselves in the foot while we're trying to react in those defensive ways and the ways that feel maybe satisfying in the moment, but not satisfying overall. All right, 43, which is a 7 as well. So, oh, I said that was a 7, but 4 and 2 is 6. I don't know why I called that a 7. So, you deserve to be seen is a 6. Let yourself be known. Interesting. And then we have a 7. So 7 may still be a very important number for you because that did come out in my mind twice. Sacred purpose, eternal flame, ancestry, legacy. So with this, I'm feeling like it's knowing that you don't have to do what you feel like others would do, what you feel like is expected of you, what even people within your ancestry have done. Like if you had a family member that would have just looked the other way and swept it under the rug, you don't have to do the same thing. If you have a family member that would have just left and not stayed with it, you don't have to do the same thing. This is for you to decide what it is that you want to do. The eternal flame is you. That's how I see it. The eternal flame is you. You have the energy and the ability to move on from this. It's just, it may or may not be with that person. Circle of eternal joy, timelessness, dance of life. So this is a 5. So this is just talking about your change. As I read that, the song, I'm not a huge country fan, but the Garth Brooks song, The Dance, and ragweed is coming in hardcore, and it has made me feel not so great with sinus issues and things like that. So I won't sing, but you know, he talks about, I don't even remember the whole song to be honest, but he talks about how sometimes things happen in life and it may be really difficult to go through. But if you didn't go through it, then you wouldn't have had the experiences that you did. What is it? Sometimes I thank God for unanswered prayers. Yeah, I can't remember the song lyrics right now. But this is about your change, that maybe you would never have expected that this would happen. And like I said, it feels like a total end. But it doesn't mean that what you had before wasn't valid or good. It just means that it cannot go on the way that it was anymore. It's time for a change. Being called to the bottom of the deck, which is a 52, which is a 7. Hidden knowledge. And I had said earlier, something hidden. Akashic records, silent understanding. So if you believe in kind of soul contracts and things like that, it may be that this was a karmic relationship. And with those, they aren't meant to last. It's meant to be that time that you're in that relationship for that specific purpose. Or that the difficulty in the relationship, that karma is being resolved. So the relationship may or may not continue. You get to choose that, but it's you being able to focus on, with that hidden knowledge, I'm seeing like if somebody was to take their brain and, not that you can do this, but open up your mind and kind of walk through and see, okay, so what are the things that I feel like are important to me? What are the things that I feel like I need to focus on? Is this worth it? Is it not worth it? So again, it's going back to where I said, really taking time to focus on what it is that you need and want so that you can decide where you go from here. Next, we're going to do the Intuitive Whispers Oracle. Then we'll do Wisdom of the Hidden Realms and then Secrets of the Ancestors. All right. So as you can see, these decks are gorgeous and the messages are awesome. There are guidebooks where you can get the authors or creators, meaning I typically am doing intuitive readings, especially where I tend to do longer readings. But if you've watched my videos, you may have seen if I feel called to read the guidebook on something, I definitely will. The guidebook definitely gives you some good information on the intent of the card. All right, so Intuitive Whispers. How do you explore this, or how do you move forward? What does this person need to focus on? What do they need to do to move forward from this? Especially that this is a very difficult situation. So we just had like quite a number of cards come out. I don't know how many right now. Looks like 3. Yeah, 3. All right, so you have 19, which breaks down to a 10, which can be a 1. So move your body to move the emotions. So trying to not feel stuck. Movement. I've talked before about whether it's singing, dancing, walking, whatever it is, moving your body around. Even sometimes, I'll talk to people about if you're feeling really anxious, go somewhere if you feel more comfortable where people aren't looking at you and just shake it out. Like just get that energy out. Do whatever you need to do. I have a chair that I can just spin around in a couple of times. Just movement sometimes helps. So whatever that looks like for you. Also, this is very root chakra based, and so you're grounding yourself. I also see some orange in this, so some sacral, getting back into what it is that you feel passionate about. What makes you feel like yourself? What makes you feel as if you are fully embodying you and just showing up authentically as you? What is it that gives you that creativity and joy, but allows you to feel safe and comfortable? Then we have 42, which is also a 7. It's time to shine. So again, as I was saying, this is you being you. Let that tigress come out, or tiger or tigress. Allow yourself to feel comfortable and confident because you get to decide here how you move in this situation. It's about you knowing that whatever it was that was hidden, the light is coming through, it's illuminated. And that may reflect back to you some emotions that are difficult to go through. But at the same time, with this purple and that dark indigo color down here, you are connected, divinely guided, whether that's your higher self, whether that is spirit, ancestors, whatever it is. You have the intuition, you have the ability to consider and know what it is that you need and want. It's you being able to do what the last card says, which number 26, which breaks down to an 8, because you're getting there, you're getting closer to change, we're getting some movement, is trusting yourself. Notice there's the third eye up there. We have a owl on the card, and owls are highly wise and intuitive. We have a heart with that green heart chakra. So trusting yourself and knowing that it's okay for you to say what you want. I said that in another card earlier. I think it was the let yourself be seen. It's okay for you to say what you want, and what you want may not be what other people feel like is the best option, but this is not their decision. This is your decision to make. You get to choose what it is that you do. So like that tigress, step into that confidence and know that you are making a decision based on that wisdom and intuition, based on that passion and that knowing of yourself and what you want. And it may not be what other people want to hear, But at the same time, if you're not coming at them from a negative, nasty place and you're just being authentic and saying how you feel, you have a right to do that. Not everybody is going to be happy with the decisions that you make. And sometimes when we set boundaries or expectations, 2020 on the clock, it's not going to benefit everyone. Boundaries are not rules for other people. They are rules for yourself to say, this is what I'm willing to accept and this is what I'm not willing to accept. If this happens, then my boundary is that I'm going to pull back. I am going to only communicate this often. I'm going to do whatever it is. So you're deciding how you want to be treated by others and can they match that energy and what you're willing to accept. So what is the wisdom of the hidden realms here? What wisdom does this person need to focus on? The Keeper of Scales, fairness, balance. So that's 38, which breaks down to an 11, which is a master number. And that goes right back to where it says, let go of fixating on the outcome and choose a path of empathy and foresight to overcome the impasse and improve the relationship. And I feel like improving the relationship is improving the relationship with yourself. Regardless of what the final decision that you make is, you're finding that balance within yourself, because I feel like this triggered a lot of things outside of just this relationship, whether it was childhood or previous relationships. Excuse me, I'm losing my voice. And so it's being able to decide what's fair, what's just, what do I want? And I was talking about those boundaries. You're making the decision of what it is that you need in order to move forward. And then the other person is deciding if they're able to match that. And if not, it's okay. It's not balanced. It's not going to work. But we have to just kind of see. This one's sticking, so let's see it is. This is 20, which breaks down to a 2. The Lady of the Gift. Generosity, receiving, and withholding. So with this, the Lady of the Gift, generosity, receiving, and withholding, I feel like as I look at this card that it is focusing on your ability to decide, as I said, those boundaries. But I'm going to go ahead and look at the, look at the guidebook just to kind of see what Colette Baron Reid says with this one. Let's see. To be your ally, the Lady of the Gift requires you to look at the nature and method of your giving to others. Let's see. It does not necessarily mean giving away money, nor does it imply a direct action of charity, even though the tradition of tithing is material. So she talks about tithing, but that it doesn't have to be something within the church. The kind of tithing the lady asks of you isn't tangible or material at all. She's asking you to look at all human beings as important in the divine scheme of things and show others that you believe in them. Pay attention to how you treat people and be mindful of your perception, even seemingly poor strangers. If you see others as successful and abundant and act as if you believe they have value, blessings all around are assured. Your belief in others has greater value than you could ever fathom. This alone guarantees your success long term. Remember that you can only keep what you're willing to give. And in the challenge position, it's that the act of withholding isn't welcome in the Lady of the Gifts world. Perhaps someone's doing it to you in order to keep you manipulated and controlled, so you believe deep down you're not quite good enough. So with that, the best way out of this is to give honesty with an open heart and without expectation. It challenges you to be generous, compassionate, and always start again. So that goes back to, again, the first card we started with, the aim higher. That whatever happened in this situation with this Page of Pentacles, you are not allowing yourself to get into that path of revenge. You may feel hurt, but not reacting in that defensive position. That you are taking the time, like what I've said throughout the reading, to really evaluate the situation, to figure out what it is that you need, to understand that people are going to make mistakes, but that doesn't mean that you have to completely give a pass. Forgiveness is not about giving someone a pass. It's about letting go of the emotions attached to what happened. So this is the secrets of the ancestors, and I don't remember if I showed the wisdom of the hidden realms. It's not to give a pass to someone, but it's to say, I'm not going to let this affect me forever. It's not going to take so much of my time and energy. And especially if you do decide to stay in whatever type of relationship you have with this person, it's going to be important for you to make sure that you're not holding on to that anger or frustration, that resentment. Even if you don't stay together, it's important to not do that, because that affects you. That affects you 100%, because the other person may even have moved on and you're sitting there in this energy of anger and frustration and holding on to it, so it continues to hurt you. Or that you're able to say, it wasn't right, I'm going to just move on. I'm going to do my own thing. Or it wasn't right, but I am going to trust that it's not going to happen again. That's a hard choice to make, so the decision is yours. So we're ending with the secrets of the ancestors, and I am going to ask that what we hear is, what is the guidance? What is the support for you in this time? So hopefully this gave you a little overview of each of the decks, and also that this information is helpful, whatever situation you're in. Like, my heart's just hurting for you, and it's heavy. It is, but you're going to come through it. It's just not necessarily going to be the way that you want it to be. 31, which is a 4, Father of Water, balance and harmony. So we had a Justice card earlier from our wisdom of the hidden realms. So you're getting this balance, this Justice card twice. So with that balance and justice, it's really being able to understand that justice doesn't have to come as like a battle or winning. Justice can be that you find a balance, something that makes you feel calm, something that makes you feel like, fair is not the word coming into my mind, because it's not always going to be fair, but it makes you feel like that you're ready to do what you need to do. There's a moon in this card. So again, I feel like part of it too with that balance and harmony is shadows and light, the things that are hidden, that you acknowledge not only the darkness, the things that are difficult, but again, coming back to the empathy, compassion, aim higher, that you acknowledge the things that were good and know that it's okay to experience both at the same time. But you've got to ultimately make a decision that is going to work for you long term. And you may make a decision and come back to it later and say, this isn't working. That's where those boundaries come in. We can continue to work on this, but this is what I expect and this is what I need. And maybe over time it becomes obvious that that's not going to be the case. Is there anything else from the secrets of the ancestors? That's like 3 different ones, so we can do just one. Okay. Father of Earth, generosity. So we've got a pentacle in here. We also have that word generous, which when we were looking at the Lady of the Gift, the generosity. And again, I'm feeling like this is for you. The empathy and compassion that you give to this other person, it's partly for them, but it's mostly for you. Because for you to not show that, I'm hearing would hurt you more. You don't have to concede and give in. You don't even have to be like, oh, I'm so sorry that you had this situation that created this for you, or that you felt this way or whatever. You don't have to say those things. But just understanding that it's okay to release that hurt and to say, okay, I may get why you did it. I'm going to forgive you. The generosity is also to you. And that's through that self-care, that you give yourself the attention, the kindness, the caring, and the focus that you haven't necessarily been giving yourself. I'm going to see if there's another card, but if not, to end off, I am going to read from Abiola Abrams' guidebook on that generosity. All right, one more shuffle. Nope, that's it. So let's look at that. So that was 41. And then you won't have to hear my gravelly voice anymore. Not today. All right, 41. Father of Earth generosity. Ooh, be your own sugar daddy. Dream bigger and raise your standards. Enjoy the pleasures and riches of love, money, or health. Risk-taking is discouraged right now, but you are being encouraged to grow and evolve. And that encompasses all of this, where I said, focusing on you, focusing on your passions, bringing that balance that you can forgive this person. And that's the generosity. It's not about you bending over backwards to help them or anything. It's not your job, 31:11 on the clock, to do that. Your job is to focus on your knowledge, to focus on understanding that you are in this dance and not everything is meant for you. You have a sacred purpose. You deserve to be seen and have your voice shine. And that tower may come down, but there's going to be a new tower and you're going to build this, but it's you focusing on yourself. That balance and harmony is what you're bringing in for yourself, but you have to trust yourself and know that it is your time to shine. So I'm going to read one more time this first card, the aim higher, or aim for higher. In the current struggle, you may seek quick resolution. Don't do that. But rushing will complicate things. Let go of fixating on the outcome and choose a path of empathy and foresight to overcome the impasse and improve the relationship. And I said to you from the beginning of this reading, the relationship with yourself. I am not saying you have to stay in this relationship, whatever capacity it is, whether that's family, romantic, friendship, whatever, work even. But it's you being able to give yourself that grace, to give yourself that compassion, to give yourself the permission to set those boundaries, regardless of what other people think, because this is about you. This is about you and your health. But you can do it from a place where you take your time and you focus on what you need and not reacting to the other person in the moment, because what they're saying and doing and your reaction in that moment is not being true to focusing on your needs. You're buying into their stuff. You got to push their stuff aside. I understand you're having a hard time, but I am too. And I got to focus on me. So take some time for yourself. All right. Take care. I hope that helps somebody.